Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-diving deep into a story that sounds like it is straight out of a blockbuster movie. But it's a powerful tale about resilience, unexpected turns, and the complicated threads that bind families, even when they seem broken beyond repair. Get ready, because this one is going to tug at your heartstrings and make you think. Imagine being a child, barely old enough to understand the world, and suddenly, the two people you rely on most in life, your parents, vanish. They abandon you, not because of a tragic accident, but because they simply chose to leave. That's the devastating reality for our protagonist, a young boy named Ethan. He was left alone in a world that suddenly felt cold and indifferent. It's a pain no child should ever experience, a wound that runs deep and affects every aspect of their life. For Ethan, this wasn't just a sad chapter. It was the defining moment that forged the incredible man he would become. Ethan's childhood after that was anything but easy. He bounced between foster homes, each one a temporary stop, never a true sanctuary. He learned early on that if he wanted anything in life, he had to earn it, often fighting for it. But despite the incredible hardship and the emotional scars, something remarkable happened within Ethan. Instead of letting bitterness consume him, he channeled that raw energy into an unshakable determination. He became a relentless learner, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. He saw opportunities where others saw dead ends, and he developed a work ethic that was second to none. His abandonment, tragic ironically, became the unlikely fuel for his future success. Fast forward many years, and Ethan is no longer that forgotten child. Through sheer grit, brilliant ideas, and an almost superhuman drive, he built an empire from the ground up. He founded a tech company that revolutionized an entire industry, making him not just successful, but a household name. A true titan of business. He became a billionaire, a philanthropist, respected and admired by many. He had achieved everything he could have dreamed of, and more. Yet, despite all the accolades and the vast fortune, a part of him still carried the weight of his past. The question of why his parents left him lingered, a silent echo in the grand halls of his achievements. One day, as Ethan was driving through the city, something caught his eye. It was a familiar face, aged and weathered by time, standing on a street corner, begging for spare change. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be? It was an unbelievable coincidence, almost too dramatic to be true. But as he looked closer, the features, the mannerisms, the way they held themselves, a chilling recognition washed over him. It was them, his parents, the very people who had abandoned him decades ago, now reduced to living on the streets, desperate and forgotten. The irony was stark, almost cruel. Here he was, in his luxury car, on his way to another board meeting, a man of immense wealth and influence. And there they were, homeless, destitute, a shadow of the figures he remembered from his earliest memories. A whirlwind of emotions crashed over him. Shock, anger, a touch of morbid satisfaction, but beneath it all, a profound sadness. How could life be so incredibly cyclical? How could fate bring them together again in such a stark and painful contrast? He had always wondered what had become of them, and now He knew the answer was heartbreaking. Epudit obe, his mind racing. What should he do? Should he confront them, walk away, and pretend he hadn't seen them? The pain of his past was still raw, but so was the curiosity. He had so many questions. Why did they leave him? What had happened to them? He remembered the cold, hungry nights, the feeling of being unwanted, the struggle to survive, and now, seeing them in such a state, it forced him to confront the complex emotions he had buried deep for so long. It was a moment of reckoning, not just for them, but for Ethan himself. He decided to approach them. He walked slowly, his footsteps heavy, his heart pounding in his chest. As he got closer, his parents, oblivious to the identity of the well-dressed stranger, looked up, their eyes hollow and tired. He stood before them, a towering figure of success, and they, two broken souls. He started to speak, his voice calm, but with an underlying tremor of emotion. He recounted details only they would know, moments from his forgotten childhood. Their faces, at first blank, slowly transformed from confusion to disbelief, then to dawning horror and recognition. The silence that followed was deafening, filled with decades of unspoken regret and pain. The reunion wasn't a heartwarming embrace. It was a moment laden with tension and unanswered questions. His parents were shocked, overwhelmed by shame and guilt. They stammered, tried to explain, their excuses falling flat in the face of his success and their own despair. Ethan listened, not with judgment, but with a quiet, almost detached intensity. He needed to understand. He needed to hear their story. However painful, he learned about their own struggles, their poor choices, the downward spiral that led them to that street corner. It didn't erase his past, but it offered a glimpse into the human frailty that had shaped his early life. Ethan, the billionaire, faced a monumental decision. What does one do when faced with the people who caused such profound pain, now utterly broken and dependent? Revenge, indifference, or something else entirely? He understood that he couldn't simply erase the past, nor could he entirely forgive the actions that had wounded him so deeply. But he also recognized the human tragedy before him. He was no longer that helpless child. He had the power to make a choice, not out of obligation, but out of a profound understanding of what it means to be human. Ultimately, Ethan chose a path that showcased his incredible strength and compassion. He didn't offer them a lavish lifestyle, nor did he completely welcome them back into his life as if nothing had happened. Instead, he provided them with a second chance, a stable environment where they could rebuild their lives, free from the streets. He ensured they had proper housing, food, and access to the support they needed to get back on their feet. He didn't do it for them, perhaps, as much as he did it for the child he once was, and for the man he had become. It was a testament to his character, a demonstration that even the deepest wounds can lead to incredible growth and unexpected acts of grace. His story is a powerful reminder that our past does not define our future. It shows us that even from the most painful beginnings, incredible strength and success can emerge. Ethan's journey from an abandoned child to a billionaire, and his eventual encounter with his parents forces us to consider complex questions about forgiveness, resilience, and the true meaning of family. It's a story of profound human experience, demonstrating how one can rise above unimaginable adversity and choose compassion over bitterness. What an incredible story, right? It really makes you think about how we overcome challenges and the choices we make when faced with our past. If this story touched you or made you reflect, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you and miss out on more inspiring and thought-provoking content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.